Maria had a best friend named Celia. They had always been close, sharing everything. Until one day, Maria stumbled upon a heartbreaking truth. She discovered that her boyfriend and Celia were involved with each other. Shock and betrayal hit her like a storm. She couldn't believe that the two people she trusted the most had crossed the line behind her back. Heart pounding, she rushed after them, calling out Celia's name. Her voice filled with desperation. But it was too late. By the time Maria found out, the two had already been out together for a while, enjoying themselves, completely unaware of the pain they had caused. That evening, Maria stormed home, her anger boiling over. Without hesitation, she barged in and lashed out at her boyfriend, her voice sharp with fury and betrayal. "You're nothing but an animal. You have no heart, no conscience," she shouted, her eyes burning with rage. Her boyfriend, caught off guard, tried to explain, his hands raised in defense. "Maria, please let me explain. It's not what you think." But Maria wasn't having it. She had seen it with her own eyes, and no amount of excuses could erase the betrayal she felt. "I don't need your lies. I saw everything," she snapped, her voice trembling. The weight of her pain filled the room, suffocating any words he tried to say. At that moment, nothing he said mattered, because the truth had already broken her. The next morning, Maria was still seething with anger. She had spent the night tossing and turning, unable to shake off the betrayal. Determined to get the truth, she marched outside, where Celia was taking a bath in the open yard. Without hesitation, Maria stormed up to her, her voice sharp and filled with resentment. "How dare you betray me, Celia? Do you have no shame?" Maria yelled, her fists clenched at her sides. Celia, startled and dripping wet, turned to face her. Annoyance flashed in her eyes. "Maria, stop this nonsense. You don't know what you're talking about," Celia snapped, wrapping a towel around herself. Their argument quickly escalated, their voices ringing through the morning air. Inside the house, Maria's boyfriend was jolted awake by the shouting. Rushing outside, he found the two women locked in a heated confrontation. "Enough, both of you," he demanded, stepping between them. His face was tense, his voice laced with frustration. Maria's eyes narrowed at him. "Don't even try to deny it. I saw you with her." But her boyfriend shook his head firmly. "Maria, you're wrong. There's only one woman in my life, and that's you. I swear on everything, Celia means nothing to me." His words lingered in the air, but was it enough to convince Maria? Or had the damage already been done? Once again, the brutal truth hit Maria like a slap to the face. Curiosity mixed with dread pushed her forward. She stepped closer, peering through the slightly fogged-up window, and there they were, Celia and her boyfriend, together. Again, Maria's breath hitched. Her mind refused to process what her eyes were seeing. The betrayal, the lies, the empty promises. All of it shattered in an instant. She stumbled back, her vision blurring with disbelief. "No, this can't be happening," she whispered, her hands trembling. But the truth was undeniable. They weren't just a mistake. They were a choice. And Maria had just seen it with her own eyes.
Akala mo makakatakas ka, ha? Pakawalan mo ako! Rico! Rico, tulungan mo ako! Alam mo, tama nga sinasabi ni Rico na napakatanga mong babae. Ang dali mong ululin. Ang dali mong lokohin. Alam mo, pinagtatawanan ka nga niya eh. Hindi niya raw alam kung ano raw nakita niya sa'yo. Nagsisisi nga daw siya kung bakit siya nagpapikot sa'yo. Nagsisinungaling ka! Hindi to lahat ng mga sinasabi mo!
That night, Maria stormed into Celia's room, her fury boiling over. The betrayal had been too much to bear, and now it was time for a reckoning. "How could you do this to me?" Maria shouted, her voice shaking with anger. "You were my best friend." Celia, lounging arrogantly, simply laughed cruelly. "You're so naive, Maria. It's pathetic," she sneered. "I actually feel sorry for you. Did you really think he was ever yours?" Maria's patience snapped. The two lunged at each other, clawing, slapping, pulling hair, neither willing to back down. Their shouts echoed through the room as rage took over. But Maria was weaker. Celia, fueled by her arrogance and anger, overpowered her, knocking her to the ground. Maria lay there, breathing heavily, her body aching, while Celia stood over her victoriously. Without even looking back, Celia turned to Maria's boyfriend, throwing herself into his arms. "She's nothing now," she whispered seductively, pressing against him. The two embraced, their betrayal unfolding right in front of Maria's eyes. Maria's hands clenched into fists. The humiliation, the rage, the pain. It all built up inside her like a storm ready to explode. And then something snapped. With trembling hands, Maria got up, her vision dark with fury. Her eyes landed on a knife nearby. Without thinking, without hesitation, she grabbed it. Her feet moved on their own as she staggered toward them. The sound of their laughter, their whispers of desire, rang in her ears like a cruel mockery. And then she struck. The room fell into silence. Celia gasped, her body stiffening. Her eyes widened in shock as she looked down, the blade buried deep in her side. Maria stood there, her breath heavy, her hands shaking. She had done it. But what now?